What is going on, High Top Sports Oregon? The Ducks get it done once again. Derek the Duck Zelmer lets you know in our last video that good things could be coming and good things have arrived in a nice little package at the front door in Eugene, Oregon. You're landing yourself an absolute duck in Jordon Davison. Derek, how are we feeling?
Absolutely, man. This is one that really gets me going. This is a name where Oregon fans, they've been tracking this guy for a very long time. Obviously, out of the pipeline that is Mater Dei and Santa Ana here in Southern California. Teammate of Nasir Wyatt, who's in this 25 class. But yeah, Jordon Davison is an absolute dog, or a duck, as you put it. 6 foot, 216 pounds. So he's a bruiser type of back. He's a really one of those like one jump cut through the hole type of guys running through your open arm tackles. So it's like he's a really nice compliment to Dier Hill, who we signed earlier in this class. It's a nice little Thunder Lightning package, but yeah, you'll see it here. Jordan. He's able to do a little bit of everything. He really is that power back. You'll see him take it up the middle, run a lot of power, but you also see him be able to bounce it out to the outside and not clearly the breakaway speed, which is something we've known to expect out of any Oregon commit. But the one thing that really surprises me and really makes me excited for this commit, if it does end up sticking, is the fact that he is able to jump into the slot and play a little bit of receiver. I know we don't see it much on tape here. He was down last year with a lower leg injury that kind of hindered his performance and kind of, threw things off a little bit. But he's able to jump in the slot, has really nice hands for a bigger back, and someone who fits really nicely into a Will Stein offense. Really excited to get him here on campus. Hopefully this one is able to, take it to the finish line, get him signed on National Signing Day. But it's, I can't understate how major this is. And I mean, if you kind of look at the ratings, it's easy to look at like 24/7 and ESPN's crap just for what it's worth. But if you're taking a look at Rivals, they had him all the way up to the number 8 player in the country overall at one point prior to his leg injury last year. And the number 2 back in the nation. So it's, we're able to see that some of these people who put some stock into, what these guys are, they value him highly. So for that reason, I think it's a pretty big get for the Ducks. It made me feel a little bit better coming down to the line. I know Oregon was almost out of his recruitment entirely when it was looking more like a Bama, Michigan, Ohio State race. And then Ohio State and Michigan both signed 2 backs. Bama kind of fell off the trail a little bit, and that kind of left Oregon back in the picture. And then, kind of bringing in Rashad Samples as the running back coach hire, I think that paid dividends. And, it makes it all the sweeter that, we lost running back coach Carlos Loughlin to Ohio State. Now we kind of get to rip one of his recruits back and bring him back to Oregon. So it's just a nice little salt in the wound for him. But yeah, man, I really can't understate how excited I am. I think this is going to be one of the premier players in this year's class for the Ducks. I think he has an incredibly high ceiling.
He's a top 8 running back now in 247, top 150 player, I believe. This catapults you guys from 19 to now 15. So the class continues to move upward up this ladder. That 6 foot 216 fires me up. In a world, we've got a bunch of 5'10", 5'11 guys now at that 190 mark. Those 6 foot to 6'2", 220 backs start to become a rare breed, right? I love them. They're the good old fashioned Bama backs, even the Georgia backs for quite some time. They're so fun to watch, the big bruisers. Again, I think he throws himself an extra inch in there, and he's right into that category of exciting and bulldozing some guys. And look, this is the type of guy you guys are going to need headed into the Big Ten. You see what schools are going after him, right? This is that type of style that you're going to be playing up against. The Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the run and gun, power O, just slam it down your throat, big backs, big offensive line. And watching his film, he might just have the best offensive line in the country out there in California. The gaps just open up for this young man. It's like, all right, he's good, but the holes are being created at this very moment.
Yeah, the whole we need to start jumping on some of these old linemen.
Yeah. I think he can bring a couple guys from that team.
Yeah, like you said, that's actually a really good point you bring up. Is kind of this is more of that prototypical Big Ten running back. Like as a little kid, I didn't get a lot of Oregon games growing up in Wisconsin, so I watched a lot of Badger football when I was younger. And this is like that kind of, not quite the Ron Dane, but like the PJ Hill, those big beefy backs who, they will run through arm tackles. Like you're not going to rely on sticking your arm out and hoping you're going to trip these guys up. Like you're going to have to lay the pads on these guys to bring them down. And that's kind of what makes me excited about them. I think we're going to see a lot of missed tackles in this young man's future. it's going to be a good time to be a Duck if this one sticks out. But I also don't anticipate that this recruitment is over yet either. I
For
think
sure.
if he
None of it's
has,
over.
yeah, if he has a a substantial fall like we kind of anticipate him to coming off an injury from last year, obviously he's going to keep his stock up and kind of do all this stuff. But I think the more we get deeper into this, the more we hear the names like Ohio States, the Michigans, the Alabamas jump back up. It wouldn't surprise me to see another one of these names like a USC try to jump in and make themselves prominent in this recruitment. So I think it's far from over, but I think Oregon is in a phenomenal spot. They've held on to him and maintained that relationship for this long. I think, you know, knowing Dan Lanning, he's going to be able to cross the finish line with this one. So I'm pretty pumped up if you can't tell.
No, I see it. It's a strong get, nonetheless. And look, you will have some battles, but I don't think USC is going to be your concern. They are on a trajectory going the complete opposite direction as they've lost their third decommit now in Hilt Stubbs here, which everyone knew was happening. Feels good when it gets confirmed. Every guy that committed during that huge weekend, like 3 months ago, and everybody like scratched their head like this makes zero sense, have all since decommitted. Very weird, very strange. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. USC recruiting is an absolute joke at the moment. I really think there is a slippery slope happening. They had an opportunity early on there, and the reason I'm bringing up USC because I know Oregon and their passion for hating USC, and I'm right there with you. So this is fun to do. I really think they're in a weird place that it could go from bad to worse really quickly with their movement into the Big Ten, with the world of NIL. This whole like, oh, it's California, it's living out. It's not what it used to be. It's not that flashy and cool anymore because you can go anywhere, get a big bag, and live nice on all these college campuses. And there really isn't too many nice areas surrounding that stadium. And it's not really just a great college atmosphere in the sense for football either. And it's like it's losing its lust. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it.
No, not at all. I live 45 minutes from Los Angeles and going down there, it has zero feel to a college environment. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? You get down to the USC stadium and it does not feel like a collegiate atmosphere. It just doesn't have that kind of like shine to it. I think a lot of people on the outside looking in kind of think USC has. But going back to all their decommits, it's just like when we were seeing these guys who were committing from Jacksonville and Southern Georgia, and these high end blue chip recruits committing to USC early on, coming from these areas where typically if the SEC doesn't want them to leave, they're not leaving.
sure.
And then all of a sudden, there was that influx of commitments that happened, and all of a sudden, you kind of got the Will Smith meme going on where he's looking around in the room and there's nobody left. It's just everything
Yeah.
that they were just bragging to me. Yeah, everything that they were just bragging to me about 3 weeks ago. All of a sudden, you take a look back at the paper again, and USC has just they've fallen, and now they're I think they're duking it out with like the likes of like I don't know who is it Vanderbilt down there somewhere.
Yeah, they're
So
down to
yeah,
31st
I
now
don't know.
with 11 commits. Still got a lot. Juju's obviously Julia Lewis, which is being heavily recruited after with Colorado. Seems like they made a heavy push this past weekend. That would just be an absolutely just demoralizing blow if you lose Julia Lewis to Colorado. And I gotta tell you, I'm here for it. I would love every minute of it.
You and me both, man. It's no secret. You go and check the High Top Oregon Twitter account. It's no secret that I am not a Colorado fan by any stretch. With that being said, I would love nothing more than to see Juju commit to Colorado over USC and just leave that class high and dry, baby. Let's just drain that class for everything it's worth and let him go into the Big Ten empty-handed. That would make my heart happy.
I love it. Well, good stuff. Great pickup again for the Ducks. See if they can close it strong going into obviously signing day, which is later on in December, but that's far beyond your worries at the moment. Be sure, guys, to smash the like button and subscribe. We're on the way to 1,000 subs. Trying to get there before the season. Helps a lot every time you guys smash that button and the like button. Let us know down in the comments how you feel about this big time pickup. Until next time, I'm Sheldon. That's Derek the Duck. We'll see you guys later. Peace.